serious problems.
Yo, Jimmy, what's your serious problem then?
Mate, my serious problem is that this week was supposed to be the biggest episode of Serious Problems. Like, we're towards the end of the season, and we had this studio that was gonna, like, get us, and we're gonna get this super good guests. But we planned one good guest who couldn't do it, then we asked a couple of others who couldn't also do it. But the thing is, it's the sprint, so then nobody wanted to go to say yes because they were hoping to go to the final. But then we end up just doing this debrief, and the biggest reason as well is that you got sick, so we can't even use the studio. So we're here just recording in our hotel rooms, and you're at home.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah, fuck. I don't know, like, honestly, I'm just so happy when the season's over. For me, basically, ever since like mid of December, Murphy's Law just hit like boom. Like everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as of now, I don't think I'll be able to do 50K. I woke up this morning. Like, if I'll feel super good tomorrow, then I might still drive to Oslo. But 50K is not something you should do when you're not 100% healthy.
Yeah.
So, and also, we've got some really cool races coming up next week. And we don't have the greatest podcast this week since we decided we'll just do 2 debriefs, since we've got the Drammen sprint of today to debrief and then a 50K on Saturday to debrief. But we've got an announcement, Jimmy, for all of our US listeners, especially the ones that are going to be in Lake Placid.
Yeah, I think it's like we thought quite a while about what we could do. It's World Cup finals, kind of the last big episode of the season, and we have so many listeners from the US, from Canada, so we thought we'd like go out with a boom. And so we're gonna have a live podcast on Saturday next week. Not quite, we'll announce exactly the date and time and all the guests, but I can tell you that like we've got some really, really good guests lined up.
Yeah. Rumor has it there might even be a co-host.
Yeah, co-host. We can announce the co-host right now, actually.
Should we? Nah, you know what? You know what? We'll announce the co-host on the next debrief on Saturday.
Yeah.
To let people wait a little bit longer.
He's pretty good, and if anybody can just guess who the co-host is, the plan is to have like a co-host and bring in some more guests. So we'll be 3 of us co-hosts, and it's not Andrew Musgrave. We can already say because he's already been a co-host, but you can just guess who the co-host will be, and he's pretty big, I would say.
Yeah. I would say too. Wait. In what context are you saying that?
Big and skiing.
Okay, yeah, okay. No, yeah. Right, okay. Enough announcements for today. Jimmy, let's talk about Drammen.
Mate, that was a crazy...
Yeah.
I was raced really shit, as per usual in the classic sprint, but I felt really good, but like... Technically, really fast conditions, really strong double poling, which I am not super strong in double poling, so that's just the way it is. But I think it was pretty stable conditions, easy to get grip.
But it looked horrible in the downhills and also on like the up to the finish straight with all the bumps everywhere.
Honestly, they salted the track and it was pretty good, and I think it was pretty decent in the heats as well. But like...
Okay.
Yeah, and it didn't get so much worse between the time we first like tested at the start and then like our prologue.
Yeah.
So good, like as good conditions that you could expect from Drammen when it's plus 3-4 degrees. So
yeah,
I think pretty decent. But the biggest thing is
lots of big names out in the prologue though. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that the heats were crazy.
Yeah, the heats were crazy, but before we even start with the heats, like this, I in my mind, I had this whole battle made up of Lars Heggen and Johannes Verklebo, and I knew they were gonna fight for win. And I was thinking, like, maybe Maybe City Sprint today might be the day. I was thinking today's the day that Lars Hagen's gonna beat Johannes Verklebo. Boom, out in prologue.
Yeah.
I was
And
like, wow, that was a bit unexpected.
he was clearly out as well. He was just a little bit ahead of me. Yeah, that was both him and Philip Skari. Philip Skari just said like he just wasn't good enough. And that's
Benji Moser out, which is
yeah,
also quite a big name these
yeah,
days.
for sure. Pellegrino was behind me, which is he's
Yeah.
not a. I think we can say he's not a Drammen specialist, but still,
Yeah.
I think that was pretty crazy.
And then you got Michael Fettinger with Bib, I don't know, it was somewhere around the 40s. Coming in 19th, and then you're like, okay, if like Bib 40 or 45 comes in 19th, it's like they're gonna be in the heats. But not in Drammen, because in Drammen you'll get like all these Norwegian national quota guys with Bibs from like 50 plus. And it's like the amount of high bips, high qualification bips that qualified for the heats today was, I don't think that's ever happened before. Actually,
I was a bit crazy, yeah. It was a bit crazy, but like you
is
said, if
wild.
there's one place it's gonna happen, it's.
Yeah, women's prologue. Anything?
Well, we should just say that like there's 12 Norwegians racing Drammen.
Yeah,
So there's 10 like Norwegians, and then they have 2 quotas for the under 23s.
yeah.
So that's like a lot. That's like a lot of
And then you
Norwegians.
also have to say that like those 4 extra spots that they get for Drammen are usually people that have not raced a full World Cup season,
Yeah,
which in training status and freshness can actually mean quite a lot, especially after in an Olympic season.
yeah, for sure.
But then, okay, that was the men's prologue. Big names out. I mean, yeah, Johannes won the prologue. Alvar Muleback came in what, 3rd or 4th, I think, in the
Yeah,
prologue.
it was definitely top 10. Yeah.
And yeah, apart from that, Christian Kollerud World Cup debut goes on with 11th time, but we're gonna get to him later on as well. So women's prologue, anything?
I think the usual. I think it's always a little bit sad to see Tyriel
Yeah.
Udnesveng go out in the prologue as 32nd, and she's like, she's won overall, and she's just not managing to ski on the level she's been at before. And from what I've heard, she hasn't been able to train that well. As soon as she trains, she just like gets ill or gets injured or whatever. So yeah, it's a bit sad to see her not reach the level we know she can be at, and hopefully she'll be there in
Something that was
years.
also very exciting, but rather just in an exciting way than in a good exciting way, is Julia Berg-Drivenes not qualifying, but then her younger sister Iselin Drivenes qualifying. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, they also don't look anything alike.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Yeah, weird. We don't. I
Weird.
actually don't know anything about them, so maybe there's only half sisters or something. Maybe the postman looks a bit more like the younger sister.
Okay, that's something that you said. Right, you know what? We should let's not get cancelled. Let's actually just go to the heats. Go to the heat. First thing that comes into mind: women's first heat, everything as usual. Women's second heat. Has it ever happened that like 5 out of 6 skiers crash in the last corner?
That was crazy. Was it? It was only 4 though, wasn't it?
It was 5. It was all but 1 crashed.
Yeah, and then the 4th one or the 5th one only got tangled a little bit, so then she was quickly back on the skis.
Yeah.
And then Lynn Svan caught her up anyway, and still managed to qualify.
Yeah,
that was
especially
crazy.
Lynn Swan was the second to last to actually get up, I think.
Yeah, but I think the biggest question is how often do women in sprints play it tactically like that, like waiting at the top of the hill, not wanting to go first. Not so often. Like we see it often on the men's side,
Yeah.
But I feel like, especially when there's Sunling and like some of the girls, it's just kind of like everyone wants to just hammer it down,
Yeah,
and
true.
often we don't see these tactical moves for the women, and they've
Yeah.
what happened was that they waited at the top because nobody wanted to go first, and then they all went together, and then there was just this massive group in the last corner, and then it's a tight corner, everybody wants to take the inside lane, and then boom, ski goes under the other, and then everybody crashes because they're all so close together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you just there's just a limited amount of space in that corner, and then speed is high.
Yeah.
I guess it was a bit icy maybe also in that corner since they salted. So
Yeah.
yeah, then it just needs like this one thing to
I
go
think it was
wrong, and then
I actually think it was more like bit softer. You know when they salt, it gets really really hard, and then when the corners start breaking up, then it gets like really proper soft.
but was it
And
like
then
that? It did not look like that on television at all.
it was quite that was the softest corner by far, yeah, or at
Yeah,
least in
okay.
the prologue. And then it just makes it super sketchy, and sometimes you get icy underneath as well. So
Yeah. Then quarterfinals, nothing super special happens if I remember it correctly. Yeah, Oliver Muleback had an insane finish sprint because he actually. Okay, let's talk about Oliver Muleback actually.
yeah.
Going on double pulling skis with just a tiny bit of clister on there. What do you think? If he would have just gone on normal classic skis, would he have been better?
Like hard to tell. He still had wax, you know. So
Yeah, he
like,
had some wax, but then like it was not enough wax for him to get good kick because you could see that he was struggling with kick. He was hanging in his arms like hell, and that costs a lot of energy to hang in your arms like that. Plus, in the downhill, who was he skiing in a heat with David Gratz? I think he was. I just saw him going side to side in the downhill, and I was like, there's literally no speed difference in skis.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like when it's these super straight downhills, I don't think it's such a big difference on classic skis
Yeah.
because you have like kind of the wax is lifted up. But I think the difference is more when you're double poling in the slight uphills and you don't have any wax under your skis because that's when you put the power down with your feet.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have the wax under your skis, that's when you can double pole super hard. So I think that was his idea that, okay, he goes with minimal wax, and then when he's double poling, that wax is not going to dig into the snow. So then he's
Yeah.
going to go faster. And it kind of worked. Or it
Yeah,
did
I mean,
work.
but I get his idea, but I just ask myself that like what's the cost benefit? Do you really benefit more than it actually costs you? Because hanging in your arms like that in a prologue, in a quarter, and in a semifinal is definitely not gonna make your arms fresher for the final. Yeah, it's interesting to see. It brings a new aspect when he does stuff like this, but I personally am not sure if it's a better choice.
Do you want to know my honest thing? I reckon he's a tank and he just thinks I'm so good in double poling and I'm such a tank in double poling. I'm just going to do as much double poling as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make it as hard as possible for me to not do anything else than double poling.
Yeah.
It
I
is kind
actually
of like a
think that
state of
might
mind
be.
as well, I think.
I think that might be a very realistic scenario. Also, different topic, or actually same topic, but these double polling zones or these no double polling zones. I mean, the World Cup this year has proven, not only this year but also the last years, like most of the tracks are hard enough that you're just not faster with double polling. You're actually faster in classic. Now, if you get a track like Drammen, where it's a bit
On the
on the
limit.
limit, just fuck that double polling zone. Don't do it. Like actually there's gonna be a few people that are gonna double pull. Like far from everybody's gonna double pull. Like it's also interesting to watch if you
Yeah.
get more aspects to it.
I think that's kind of what it was when we were discussing this with other athletes, and it would be more interesting to have that tactical choice because I can bet you that if you had no double polling zone, not everyone will go double polling that
No,
race.
exactly.
And that's kind of makes it exciting because I think, I don't know, will Clabo double poll? I'm not so sure. I think
I'm not so convinced either.
yeah, because he's so good at technical classic, so maybe he would go with a bit minimal wax. And then some people would choose to double poll, some people would not double poll. And I think it would be in Drammen, it would be pretty exciting.
I
But
think it
it-
would be exciting everywhere. I mean, you saw it in Trondheim where we have like a hard track with no double polling zone, and there's still this one guy who's by far the best double poller of everybody in the World Cup that manages to get his podium double polling. I can promise you, nobody else would have managed. I can promise you.
Yeah.
So actually, I think it's just an extra aspect, and I think it's a good thing to have this tactical choice between, are people double polling, are they skiing classic? Most tracks will be hard enough so people ski classic, especially distance tracks.
Well, I've actually brought this up to Fizz a few times. And when they come up with like a super easy track, for example, they wanted to do this Trecime distance track in classic. So it's like this long classic, long track that goes up in Toblach up to the Trecime viewpoint. And I said, but like, okay, great, do this track, but then do not put any double pole zones or no double pole zones to kind of like, then it's a double pole race, or like we do a bit of both maybe. And their answer every time is like, oh no, but this is like this is a jury decision, so we can't decide that in advance.
Yes, but FIS has the power to set out guidelines and to talk to the jury. Like FIS is the head federation, so they cannot say, "Oh yeah, but this is not in our power." Like, yes, it is. You were the ones that came up with the rule in the first place.
I think their point is more that then we'd have to get rid of diagonal zones altogether.
Yeah, but you can also just have a discussion with a race organizer before they organize the race and be like, "Yeah, hey, if
Oh,
we're
it's
gonna
the-
do this
yeah.
classic race, we're gonna not do the polling zone."
Yeah, I mean, members of the juries, lots of them are in these meetings anyway.
So that's my point. Also, imagine doing this Trechima loop with a no double polling zone. It's like there's literally less than 60 seconds of striding in that whole 20K of
I know, but
loop.
this was like last year or like for this past season. There was a
Yeah,
potential plan, and they had planned to go one loop on the 5K course in Toblach, which has quite a lot of climb.
yeah.
And then they would have put a double pole zone in that section, and then you'd have to like. Anyway, it didn't happen, so no need to
It
discuss
didn't
it.
happen. So okay, actually go back to Drammen.
Yeah,
I mean, men's quarterfinals, women's quarterfinals, apart from the big crash, were actually still the ones you guess would qualify, managed to go on to the semis ever since Lin Swan did this insane
yeah.
last finish straight. Men's quarterfinals, everything.
Or Evan Nordic did get disqualified.
Yes, was it a technical violation or I didn't?
I'm actually gonna check it right now. Continue talking then, Mika.
Yeah, because I just saw on television Evan Nortug yellow card, classic technique, but it didn't say violation. There was another word, which made me think
Classic
that maybe
technique. No, classic technique infraction. And it
What's
was
that?
just. Well, it's just he was skating.
It's just the same as violation then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem was that he already had a yellow card, so it was the
Yeah.
second yellow card, and so he got disqualified.
But is that because he double poled in the no polling zone, or is that because
No,
of
no,
skating?
I think it's probably that he skated. He did like an extra
Yeah.
push where he was not allowed to push. Typically, in the long straight downhill,
Yeah.
then if you start pushing a little bit there, you're not meant to. So you get like an advantage, and
But actually, with this whole technique violation things, I was actually thinking during the race today, why can't race juries, not just come up with like a line that they're gonna pursue for the whole season? Like today, there was so much skating going on compared to other races that we've done, and there's just barely any reaction from the jury. And then we have races like last year in Konya where people like start to go out of the tracks like 30 centimeters before the corner technique zone, and then they get yellow cards for that. So it's like these inconsistent decisions. I was thinking like, how as an athlete should you know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do when sometimes you get like yellow cards for it or you get disqualified for it, and then other weekends it's just nobody really cares.
I don't know. It's not quite as easy as that. I think the problem is basically if the course design is not good enough. So, for example, if there's like the way they do it is if lots and lots of people do the violation, then they're not gonna give a yellow card to half the field. Then they're gonna say,
Yeah, but the violations, like the ones that I saw, they were all within like the last 500 meters of the track on like this straight where they were looking for tracks, go out of tracks, change tracks.
no, but
It's
I think
like every time people change tracks here, like some people did like at least 2 skate pushes with their left leg. So then it's like, that's definitely considered skating.
yeah, probably. I'm not quite sure what you refer to, but there was a lot of like turning technique zones in the downhill. They had actually considered putting like tracks the whole way, but that would have been like so sketchy.
Yeah.
It's quite a fast downhill. But I think I don't know. It's what I can say though is that there is always Mikael Lamplot and Simon Caprini. They're always in the jury.
Yeah.
So they are the ones that bring the like consistency over the whole season. Like of course the jury is not always the same. It's the same in football. Like the referee is not the same always, and like even though the rules are clear, there's always like discussions and not always the same. But I didn't think it was that much skating, but
It wasn't insane, but I saw at least, I remembered watching, and I couldn't even pinpoint now exactly which moment I'm referring to, but I saw at least like 3 or 4 moments where I'm like, that's not big. There's like races where you definitely get, or in the past where you would have definitely gotten at least a yellow card for.
yeah, I mean there was still 3 yellow cards for men,
Yeah.
and there was some for women as well.
Yeah. Right. We're going on about useless stuff again. We're drifting off. Semifinals. Should we just go? Oh, actually, women's semifinal. 2 things. First semifinal, Lynn Swan not making it to the final.
Yeah,
Wow,
that was crazy.
that was not on my bingo card for Drammen 2026.
Yeah, she just didn't get the lucky loser spot, did she? She
No.
was the lucky loser, but then it was the other heat that got it. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then second women's heat. I don't think I've ever seen this in cross country skiing. 5 Salomon skis, 1 Atomic, all Austrian made skis.
yeah,
There's not a single yellow ski in there, no Rossignol. I was like, there's 2 brands, and they were like Salomon and Atomic. I was
yeah,
like,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, Diggins, Stenset, Hagström, Gimler, Fenrich,
Yeah.
and Dagvest. Yeah, that's actually 5 Salomon skis. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean Austrian made though?
They're all being made in the factory in Austria, mate.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
all of their
They're
Salomon
not
skis.
designed in Austria, but yeah.
Oh,
sure.
they're design.
Yeah,
Same company, basically.
yeah. If you want, yeah.
Nah, it's not really. Same owner of the company.
Yeah.
So that was exciting to see.
Okay, and then we get to the biggest thing that everybody wants to hear about and we want to talk about.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
the kind of like what the fuck moment that everyone I think was not expecting. Again, they all waited at the top. Nobody really wanted to go first.
yeah. Yeah, but it's just, there's just a limited amount of space. The speed's quite high when it's salted, like it's super fast conditions. And then, I mean, I've looked at the crash like 3 or 4 times in replay. Just nobody is at fault. I mean, Clabo's just pushing, like doing small skate pushes to make the corner. Ben's on the left side of him. They're going pretty much same speed. Ben's also pushing to make the corner because there is like a right-hand corner.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like Clabo basically just pushed over Ben's ski, and by that, Ben somehow crashed onto Klabo's skis or feet, and Klabo just got like,
Turned
just twisted
sideways.
up in the
Yeah.
air, turned and hit his head onto this ice. Because it's not really snow. It's like when there's like artificial snow that's being put out in a city and they salt it. It's basically like, I'm not gonna say it's like concrete, but it's not far off either.
Yeah, it's
It's like
pretty hard.
hard grass. It's like hard grass.
Yeah, it's not. You don't want to fall on it. It's not nice. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
hit his head like pretty hard.
Especially, I think what was bad is that he hit the back of his head. I think that's
Yeah.
worse, to hit the back of your head than to hit the front of your head.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but there's probably some doctor listening to this that could either confirm or call bullshit on this straight away now.
And the
But
bro signs.
yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot of compression when he fell, and his head was bounced really hard into
Yeah.
the snow, and you could immediately see that he was not enjoying that fall so much.
Immediately hold his head like.
And then another thing, which I mean, I want to say entertaining, but it's entertaining in a probably bad way rather than in a good way. You see everybody get up, skiing on, Ben Ogden getting up, looking at Clabo, being like, "Wait, did I just make the best cross country skier of all time crash really hard and not finish the race for the first time in, I don't know, maybe ever?"
Yeah, that was like we do not see Clabo in crashes so often at all. Like
I don't
ever.
think I've. Oh, this year in Davos he crashed, right?
In yeah, semi crashed. Yeah.
Semi crashed, but like really, do you remember a race that he had to abandon?
He usually try to stay out of trouble. That's kind of the thing. He always goes a bit to the back or to the side to like really stay out of trouble, and he knows that if he gets the line at the end, he'll win. But yeah,
I think he abandoned the last time I remember, and I'm actually not 100% sure if he quit that race. Was the skiathlon in Beijing? I think he dropped out there.
I remember a race in sprint in final in Lillehammer at the start of like his career, kind of
Yeah,
not start, but like, and then I think Halverson broke his pole, and he was fucking livid against the Swedish guys in the finish, and he
yeah.
ended up 6, and he was so pissed.
But usually always finishes like every race he does. That's like a good thing with Klabo, even when he's shit sometimes, like in Ruka last year.
Yeah,
And then something that basically shows Ben's emotion or his emotional state. Ben could have easily skied on to the finish to get his result, which is like still a top 12. It's like still a good result, or top 11 in this case. Like Ben saw, fuck, I made Clavo crash, took off his skis, walked off with him.
but to be fair, they do get their top 12.
Oh, do they? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know
they
that they
do.
actually do.
Yeah, they do actually get their top 12. I checked
Okay,
that last week.
yeah,
That would be tragic if they didn't.
yeah.
But
I thought that if you'd had to like at least finish in order to get a.
no, they do actually get it because
Okay,
so they last in their heat.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I was talking to Ben just now,
yeah.
and he feels fucking terrible. Like
But
he
he can't
feels
feel
so
bad.
bad.
But he shouldn't. Like there's nothing that he could have done to prevent this. Yeah, the only thing he could have done is to not try to go fast. But he tried to go fast. Everybody tried to go fast. There's just limited space. It's a fast corner. This was a classical race incident. There was nothing that Ben did wrong in any kind of way.
Yeah, but you know Ben, he's a nice guy, and like, he
Yeah.
I would feel the same. Like you crashed and like, yeah, he was like, "Oh damn, I really hope that Klæbo goes to Lake Placid now." Like, it's like
Yeah.
Klæbo, like it's Ben's kind of like not home place, but like kind of his where he's from, roughly.
Yeah.
So I think he wants the best skier to be there, and
I mean, everybody does, but I'm guessing the chances of him having like a good concussion are quite high.
yeah,
And then I don't know. I think people handle concussions differently. Um, Yeah, I mean, you saw that Lynn Swan basically, when she got her concussion after Trondheim, she was struggling for ages with it.
And honestly, her fall didn't look so bad compared to this.
Yeah, Klæbo or Heidi Wang got a concussion like some years ago, and she was struggling for ages, but really struggling. Like
Yeah.
she felt sick when she was not lying in dark rooms and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, or at least for a period.
Yeah.
So let's hope that it's not so bad. But he's he's built different than us anyways, so there's a good chance that he'll just get up tomorrow, shake off his concussion, and then we'll be straight back. There's also a good chance that we're not going to see him race for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm not so convinced. And Norwegians are not the ones to take any chances. So
That is true.
we'll see. It would be great if he does come back and race.
On the positive side of things, we did for the first time in ages get a super exciting men's sprint final.
It was like you looked at the start list of the final and you're like, anybody
I have no
could
clue who's going to win.
Or like, I was thinking, okay, Chapaz has got the best chance, and I was like, oh, maybe Amundsen. And then Ansgar Evensen took it. So
Yeah. And a hometown boy, Christian Kollerud, World Cup debut. Like the past 5 or 6 years, I think he said in an interview, he was working at the World Cup, like doing
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. He did fluor testing 1 year.
I heard he did.
I don't know what else he did.
I heard he did the flower ceremony as a
yeah,
kid.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I hope
So
I hope Fizz finds the picture of him giving the flowers to the kids, to the
Yeah.
being one of the kids giving the flowers to the podium guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was super cool to see. World
he
Cup
was
debut.
just- he
Podium
was-
in your World Cup debut.
Yeah,
It's not so bad.
he was a tank. Like the entire race, he
Yeah.
had control. Like
Yeah.
I think Ansgar Evensen was lucky loser. He was even second lucky loser in the semi-final. But Collerid was he qualified both in the quarter and the semi as second. So it looked like he had control, and yeah, it was cool to see. But
Yeah.
I think Chapaz maybe used a little bit too much energy in the quarter and the semi. It's always hard for that in sprint because damn, you're like every race could be your last one, so you kind of have to give it 100% and push as hard as you can. And then in the final, I'm not sure. I think you maybe just didn't quite have the power at the end, and didn't have the greatest start and ended up being a bit further back. And Evensen was in a great position, and so
Did Ansgar, was this his first World Cup victory actually?
yeah.
So we have, you know what? We'll just say
Actually,
yes now.
yeah, but I said yes and pretty confidently. But then I remembered Oberhof a few years ago, and I think he might have won
True.
there.
The
So,
classic sprint, right?
Yeah, when
Also there.
Klæbo also went out in the semis or something, and I think he might have won that race. So then it's not his first victory.
So at least we saw somebody win a race that's not frequently winning races,
Yeah.
which is very cool. And then we have 2 first-time podiums, Yuri Tush and Christian Kollerud. Yuri Tush, fucking cool, Czech guy. It's good for skiing when we have some Czechs that do well. So yeah.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
he's
fun to
been
watch.
he was in the final Olympics, of course, Yuri, and he's been super good and deserves it. He's still like really young as well.
Yeah.
I think he's from 204 or 205, 204. So yeah, he's young, and this is the start of his career.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance he's gonna be really good in a couple of years.
Let's hope this was the first of many for him.
Yeah.
And then women's final.
That was so exciting.
That was so, like, when have you ever seen women almost stop at the top of a hill?
Exactly what I was saying earlier. Yeah, almost never.
Like, and then you just saw Laura Gimler on the side be like, nah, I'm not gonna join this game. Boop, sprints ahead. But yeah, like in a tactical game like this, when you're the one on the top of a hill taking initiative, usually you lose.
Yeah, the problem is when people stop, and then you go, you never manage to create a big enough gap. Like if people have been
Yeah.
going the entire race hard, and then you just go to the front, kind of what Yiri 2s did, then it can work. But Laura Gimler, they first stopped and then she went, and then then it was like it just didn't. She got just a gap that people just glided in, and suddenly she was like almost last. So yeah, that was tragic.
That was tragic. But then the finish straight was so exciting.
Yeah.
Like 10 out of 10 times, this finish straight, when you're with Kristina Stabashistad in Drammen, you're fighting for second place, right?
Yeah.
Not today.
No, it was crazy. She
Like,
was
especially in the... Okay, let's try to put words on it. What happened? Did Jonna Sundling get a boost in the last 25 meters, or did Kristina Stavashistad go on the absolute smell in the last 25
I think
meters?
it might be the second. They were like skiing, like when they started striding, they were just in the same rhythm exactly, and it was crazy. It was like so exciting, and then just at the end, Sundling managed to break Shista, and then took it. But it was insanely exciting, and we have to say Fenrish being third for the last Drammen of her career. She's gonna stop her career next week in Lake Placid, so that was pretty cool as well, I think.
Yes, definitely. Wait, was she third? No, fourth, right? Wait, Jessie, no, she didn't go to the final, did she?
Jessie wasn't in the final.
No, she was not in the final. I was just thinking, sorry, sorry.
No.
I just panicked. I just panicked.
I got really confused there for a second, but
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
One person we didn't mention is Andre Cherny, absolute tank in the prologue. I think he was fourth in the prologue, fifth maybe. And last race of his career, he was
Above all,
yeah,
absolute legend.
yeah. No, he's a super nice guy and young and still. It's a bit. I think it's a bit sad to see him retire, but I understand that people want to do other stuff in their career. But like, he's typically the sort of guy that, if he wasn't injured and in good shape, he could be on the podium. Like he is so strong, but when you're actually that as tall as him, I think you're more prone to injuries. He's had back problems and he's not always had the easiest way. So shame to see him go, but he went out with a pretty good race, I think. So should be proud of himself, and I guess we'll see him on the side of the tracks in the future.
Would be cool. Would be cool to see him someday back. But I remember I was racing OPA Cup with him.
Yeah.
I've known him forever. So it's sad to see him leave, especially when he was, especially when you felt like both you and I know how well he could ski when he was on his best level. And then it's a bit like, was there more in it?
Yeah. Especially when he's younger than us.
Yes, exactly.
Another guy that retires that is younger than us. That's tragic.
Yeah, true. But he's a legend, and he'll be good for I don't know what he's gonna be up to.
He's a really smart guy, I think. So he's doing computer sciences or computer engineer. So.
Something we did not mention on the last podcast, the last debrief. Starega.
Did we not mention it? I think we did.
I don't think we did.
Okay. Parmakoski.
Yeah, we actually did. Now that I think about it,
I think we did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're starting to blab, so I think we should cut this short.
Yeah, true.
Get better, Mika. Get healthy, and get to Lake Placid so we can make this live podcast with some super cool guests. And we'll be sure to announce it in the next few days. So stay tuned.
Yes, that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
Ciao, Jimmy.
Ciao, ciao.
Serious problems.